Hello and welcome to Take You to School with Dr. Tom Pritchard. I'm your host, JP John Paz. Of course, joining me is the star of the show, the former WWE World Tag Team Champion, 8-time Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Champion, one of the greatest trainers ever in the history of the business, the Doctor of Desire himself, Dr. Tom Pritchard. Tom, how you doing today, sir?
John, I'm doing great today. Thank you.
What is going on in the JPWA? What is the latest?
The latest, we had promo class tonight. I thought everybody did a great job. This is the fourth week for this summer class, and we just got new ropes, new canvas. Did some ring crew maintenance Monday night, which is always character building, I think. and and the guys worked hard last night and left a big wet spot in the middle of the ring. I put it on Twitter so everybody could see that, and you can only appreciate it if you've ever rolled in it or done it or created it. And those guys last night, they're busting their butts. So that's everything's good in JPWA.
Shout out
Good
to
summer crew.
Ibsen. Hello, Ibsen. Hello. How's
Ibsen,
everything?
yes.
Nice. He
Obviously,
actually
I'm on my phone. I can't really read that too well, but go ahead. Sorry.
he actually sent me something. Mo from Men on a Mission, who you wrestled many times, has a GoFundMe out there now. I guess he's in some poor health. So if you remember
Ah,
Mo from Men on a Mission, so get
I
out
know
there and
Mo
support his
very well. Yeah.
GoFundMe.
Wow. What happened?
I don't know actually. I'm not too
Okay.
sure. I know it's on the GoFundMe, but it seemed like he was a little down and out there. He was in the hospital, wasn't doing too good.
Ooh. Okay. Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So hopefully people can get out there and get to his GoFundMe. Matt R says, "What's up, everybody?" Matt, what's going on? Dave Cole, hi John, hi Dr. Tom, how's it going? Great to catch up. Dave Cole, good fan. Hello, David.
Very nice. Very
Now, Dr.
nice.
Tom, I know. Ibsen says lung issues for Mo, Sir
Oh,
Mo.
gotcha. Well, I do wish him well because he's a good guy. I saw him just he came by the school 2 years ago.
Really?
Yes, he did. Sure did. They made a trip. Him and a couple students. Sure did.
Do you remember wrestling him a lot? Because you guys did wrestle Men on a
We
Mission a
we
bunch.
worked with him. We worked with him a few times. Yeah, sure did.
What did you think about him?
I thought he was pretty good. I really did. He was a good worker. They had the gimmick, and what are you going to do? you they, yeah. I liked working with Mo. Always got along with Mo.
What about Mabel?
Always got along with Mabel too. Mabel gave me a cross body block in San Antonio. Looked like he killed me. Never touched me. But
Wow.
in the was it Thanksgiving Royal Rumble for the tag match for the Survivor Series. That's what I
Yep.
was thinking of. Yeah. So both I got along with both Mabel and Mo, and I think well, they never hurt me. How about that? Yeah.
Thank God. Yeah. R.I.P. Big Vis from Mike. Yes. Yes. Now, here's a question from Ken before we kind of get rolling on some big news of the week. Now, obviously, the answer is yes. Did you ever work around Sherry Martel? Of course. Sherry Martel is the one that
Yeah.
created the Dr. Tom gimmick.
Sure did. Yes, and Sherry was great. Did you ever know Sherry, John?
No, I've only met her once. It was an autograph signing years ago here in Jersey, but she was great at the signing, but I never knew her or met her or interviewed her or
Okay.
anything. No.
No, she was really a good person. She was a really good girl. Really nice lady. Very nice.
Now, just watching her in the ring and stuff, I mean, tough as nails. I mean, Ultimate
Yeah.
Warrior's kicking her ass, Hogan's kicking her ass. I mean, she could take a beating.
She was tough. She was. She was very tough.
Here's an interesting question from Dave. What do you remember of Professor Tanaka? Had a pleasure of seeing him a few times in person.
Uh well, I got to work with him in Los Angeles, but I did something with him in Houston before I left too. He was a very nice man. He really was, and I remember watching him in Houston growing up, and then working with him was kind of cool. But he was really a nice guy, really nice man, and I don't know. I thought he had a great career too.
Here's an interesting question from Rain before we get rolling here. What do you think about Billy Jack
I
Haynes?
think Billy Jack Haynes is tremendous. I saw him, last time right before the pandemic hit at the ECW arena. He was there, and I, you know, I, I think Billy's a little bit more with it than people give him credit for. So I talked to him for a while, and he seemed like he knew what he was. He seemed like he knew what he was doing. So if he does, then he knows exactly what he's what he's putting out there and doing. So I can appreciate a good effort like that. I really can.
He definitely says some crazy off the wall wacky stuff, but sometimes you talk to him privately and he's working.
That's what I mean. I can appreciate that part of it. So I that I like that part. So
Barbara says, "Hello, nice to see you. Hope you're doing well."
I'm doing great, Barbara. Thank you.
Now let's get into the topic at hand. Let's get into Vince McMahon and his retirement. This is all over the news. I mean, this is all over like ESPN and every made Wall Street Journal front page. What do you think here? Vince McMahon retires, self-imposed retirement.
Well, I really think it's a shame. I think it's not. I think it's a shame because people like that don't do anything but work, and that's all Vince did was work. And I understand that. Without that, that's he has nothing else. And I think at 77 years old to expect somebody to just go out and start enjoying life and find some hobbies is a little far fetched. But not that it couldn't be done. I just um, no doubt the allegations are serious. No doubt, and if they're true, especially, it's horrible. Um, but you have to ask yourself, how did this whole thing come tumbling down? How did it start? That's my question. Who started the ball rolling on this? Because it was one thing for him to be suspended and then uh, step away from the committee, but it's another thing to retire. And so that was the goal all along. Obviously, something was going on. So because that's his life. The business is what he does. So what's he going to do with himself now? He's out of power, and that was for whatever is next needed to happen. So yeah, I think it's a shame. Actually, I really do because God dang it, it would make I don't know. I don't know anything about the business and stocks and things like that. So I don't know if it'd make it better or not if he stayed on or left. When he did what he felt needed to be done, or somebody felt needed to be done, obviously. So there you have it. Vince is out. Never thought you'd hear the day, or never thought I'd hear the day.
Nope.
Never at all. He was going to be there until he wasn't. Now he's not. So it's gonna. I do think it's going to be interesting to watch, and I think it's going to be interesting to see if there's any changes at all. Or I'm sure there'll be changes, but I mean, where it's big enough to make a difference. I don't know.
Funny, people were saying, "Oh, the new era is in there." Raw was Triple H's show, and Triple H is running creative, all this stuff. Now, the funny part was that show was written by Vince last week, so everyone's saying this Triple H era. It was Vince's show on Monday, so people that were loving it didn't realize it's Vince's show, and people were like laughing about this Roman Reigns line that people didn't realize was just ad libbed about your daddy's not here anymore. Totally ad lib. People were like, "Oh, Triple H, this." It was a Vince written show, and it was Roman Reigns doing an ad lib. So, not too much as far as some anti Vince stuff. And not that Triple H would ever do that anyway. He's father,
Yeah,
father-in-law's Vince. He's not
no,
going to do anything with Vince.
right. I don't think it's just going to all of a sudden come screeching to a halt and take a right turn. But I don't know. We just have to wait and see because I haven't been there in a while, and uh, I don't know what the overall thing is. Overall mood would be, but it's changed. It's changed for over 40 years. That has been a constant. So it's got to be exciting, scary, and uncertain, and everything's uncertain. But that's just the way the world is these days. Everybody's either conglomerating, buying the other companies. So we've all heard those explanations and rumors about getting ready to sell and what you have to do to get ready to sell. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's just come down to corporate wrestling wasn't good for other reasons besides the wrestling, because it's going to wind up being going by the wayside, or maybe not going by the wayside. I don't know if you can ever kill wrestling or wrestling entertainment. There'll always be some kind of form of it, but what will it turn into? And it's not for my eyes or your eyes. It's for the next generation's eyes, and for the next generation who wants to see what they want to see. It doesn't have to be the old school wrestling. It could be the Circus Soleil. It could be whatever they make it. And they'll make it whatever they think it needs to be. It's their decision then.
Mark says Vince had memory problems, supposedly. I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where they'll be like, "Oh, he's got dementia." You know what I mean? Where they start throwing stuff around, like with Biden, like, "Oh, he's got dementia. That's why he's so dumb," or what, stuff like that. So,
right.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Right? Who knows? You could make all kind of accusations at that point. Who knows?
Ibsen wants to know: did you talk to Vince since his retirement? Something that you could share. Have you talked to Vince lately?
No, I haven't talked to him yet.
When was the last time you spoke to Vince? Like many, many years ago?
Oh, many, many years ago. Yeah. When I was in Stafford, that was the last time. Yeah.
Wow. Maddie R wants to know, what would you consider Vince's biggest accomplishment in the wrestling business?
Creating what he created. He took the chance. He was fearless and went in and just trampled everybody and took over. He didn't care. He didn't mind. He was the victor. He was the guy who dared to do that. You gotta give it to him. I'm not saying. I mean, I don't think there's any rules in a fight. He was in a fight. He was going to go out and do what he wanted to do.
So to me, the fact that supposedly they can get a $6 billion evaluation, or $6 billion for the company, is amazing. That's more than the UFC was worth. You know what I mean? So, right. I mean, I think that's like Dallas Cowboys level stuff here. I mean, we're like Yankees level stuff here.
How do you? So he did a pretty good job of doing that. I mean, that's an accomplishment that no one else has done. So he does stand alone in that, and that's why it's a shame to a lot of levels.
Barbara says, was he forced to retire?
I don't know.
Seems like it.
Well, I don't want to force him to do anything if he really didn't want to do it. I mean, I don't know. But if it was me and I did have the choice to not bring more attention to the problem, then yeah, it's the right thing to do, I guess. Because I would certainly think so.
These payouts keep getting higher and higher. Remember we said 10 million, then it was 12, now it's 14.6. Coming out of his own money, but because it's not a private company, it's a public company, he's putting money into the company and it's going off as certain expenses that weren't listed on the filings. So it comes off that they're making more money than the real are because he's throwing money into it.
Right.
That's where the problem comes. So SEC's looking into it, everything. So that's like, oh, he's putting his own money, but it's not his private. If it's a private company, who cares? Do whatever you want. But this is a public traded company. You can't do that.
Well, that might be a problem then. I agree. Yeah. So, that's why just to say anything else would be redundant. and I'm really good at beating dead horses, no doubt about it. But um, there's still like investigations going on,
Yeah.
and you hear stuff every day, and I'll catch it um, on the headlines and read some of the story, and a lot of it's the same stuff in the story, and I'm not. There's nothing new, and I'm so there's nothing really for me to decipher except here's where we are, and they're waiting to find out where they're going to be. What else is down the road? Hell, who knows? Who knows?
So he's still the majority owner, so he still owns the company. He still is 80% in controlling interest of the board. So not only does he own the company, he controls the company. So I think he just kind of, he could unretire once this blows away, if it blows away, and come back. I mean, right? Theoretically.
I guess theoretically he could, but what what's yeah. I just wonder what everybody's thinking now, because it's not just it's somebody wanted him out. That's my opinion. This isn't coincidental. This was pretty well conceived, in my opinion. So you could say it's all just happened. I don't believe that. So could he come back? Well, maybe, but who knows? He might find that he doesn't want to come back after what they've done. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, it's
Yeah.
something to think about, I guess.
Dave says this is what happens when a private company becomes public and there's a board. Even though he has a majority, they still have the board members who have some control. So I'm sure there's some pressure from the board. I'm sure there's some pressure from maybe Fox or NBC or whoever that they have all these billion-dollar deals with. That it's probably like Vince, like you're you're being investigated by the federal government again.
Right.
The hush money stuff, sexual allegations, misconduct.
But here again, do we all dare say these are horrible allegations? No doubt about it. But it's not uncommon in today's world. If you look around and you look at the successful people, from politicians all the way up to no matter where you go on both sides of the fence, it's a gotcha, and everybody plays this game. I see, and it doesn't matter if you get to a certain point, you're a target no matter what. No matter who you are in this world, whether it's with a bullet or just character assassination, you're a target. And I think this has happened to a lot of powerful people, and Vince is just the last one to get it, or the next one to get it, not the last, but he was the next one to be accused of these things, and he's whatever have done these things. So, what do you say at that point? You just say, you take what's being dished out, I guess.
Very true. Barbara says, is he pulling the strings behind the scenes? What do you think? Do you think maybe he still could be?
Could be. I mean, if he's still there, certainly he could be, but I don't know if that would be, well, I don't know what's smart and what's not, but I don't know if that would be a smart thing to do for anybody. I think you can get in trouble there too if he's resigned, and he shouldn't do anything behind the scenes.
Ibsen says, where did you first meet Vince the first time? Was it his pool at the house? Was it like Diesel, like for that instance, or was it like the office, like everyone else?
No, it was the office. Sure was. And that was when I was visiting Bruce and just went to the office and was introduced to Vince. Actually, it was do take that back. It was the first time I met Vince was in the YMCA in Houston with Ted DiBiase on the Paul Bosch retirement show.
Right.
I met him. Yeah, that was the first time. And Vince had just come from the meeting at the Houston wrestling office and was not in a good mood. And I didn't know anything about that. And I asked Teddy to introduce me, and he did. And it wasn't a good introduction, but we said hello. That was the first time I met him. Met him afterwards at the office.
So that was probably right after he told Paul Bosch to get out of town.
No, Paul didn't make the meeting.
Oh.
No, Paul didn't make the meeting. It was Pete, and they all said, "No, we're going to take the house tonight." And they were taking the entire house. You know.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So that wasn't
Wow.
a good meeting.
So did he ever show for the show
Oh
that night?
no, Paul showed for the show, but
Okay.
Vince was late to the meeting at the office, so Paul had gone home. Just said to hell with it. He had a show that, and he was going to go home. The meeting was like, I don't know, let's say 1 o'clock or noon, and Vince showed up like 2:30 or something, and supposedly, or no, maybe it wasn't 2:30 because I don't know what time it was, but supposedly Paul just left early and said to hell with it, and Pete did the meeting.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Interesting question here from Sam. Do you think anything will happen with WWE stock now that Vince is gone?
I guess it went up, didn't it? It went up a few dollars.
So it was at 66 and it jumped to 72, back down to 68 today.
Oh,
so
okay.
Almost like, oh, Vince is gone, Vince is gone. Then it kind of like back to reality.
Well, I really don't know because I don't know a whole lot about stocks, and I had stock before, but I really don't know what it's doing and what they're looking at, except the changes. And maybe, and I keep seeing the thing where they say, are they getting ready to sell? Well,
yeah.
Who knows? I mean, really, who knows? It's nothing could shock me at this point.
I believe, meaning you, trained Vince to take bumps. Yes, that is 100% true. You did train Vince.
Yes, I did.
What did you think about him as a trainee?
Well, I think even he'd tell you he's a little reckless and clumsy, and but he's yeah, and yeah, it was like trying to fight a monkey on a football. But
so funny. He's like so unathletic, but Shane was athletic as hell. It's weird. I guess
yes, he
got
was.
the Linda genes.
Yeah. But Vince didn't have to be athletic. He just had to be Vince.
Yeah,
he knew that. True. Yeah, but I think he just went into training just to say he did it, or just to get used to bumping in the ring. I guess he just had to be Vince.
I was talking to Kurt Angle recently about Vince, and he was saying that it didn't matter like how bad he was. Everybody was so intrigued by him wrestling.
Yes, that's the deal. It didn't matter how bad he was. He just as long as he went out there and was Vince. Yeah, it was almost it was like you couldn't help but love it either way. Yeah.
Adam says, do you think Shane will show up at some point with all the new changes? Is Shane McMahon on its way back?
I don't know, obviously. I really don't, but I wouldn't think so. I don't know how fun it would be for Shane at this point. So I don't know. I don't think so. But hey, I don't know. So we could see Shane back.
I was reading some Wade Keller, and he was saying that Shane and Stephanie don't really get along. So the odds of him coming back are probably less now that she's in charge.
Yeah, probably not. Probably so. I would think so. And unless I don't think Shane would do it unless he was going to have some fun. And I don't know. I don't know where he's at these days.
Do Shane and Triple H get along at all? Or do you not know?
I really don't know. I thought they did before, but I have no clue. No clue how that's changed.
Barbara says, is Vince a better booker than Dusty and Bill Watts? Whoa.
Well, in the sense, well, you know what? You have to say, as a booker, I don't know, just because Vince was around longer. Hell, Vince has always been surrounded by guys like Bill Watts and Dusty. He had Pat Patterson, he had Jerry Briscoe, he had JJ, he had he's had different people help him along the way. And he has ideas, no doubt. But Bill Watts and Dusty could tell stories, and so could Vince. I mean, Vince knows how to tell stories, and those guys have a lot of input too.
I never considered Vince a booker. I always thought,
No,
promoter with final
yeah,
say on creative, but the booker would have been Pat Patterson.
right.
I think
That's what I
George
mean.
Scott, right? Wasn't George Scott at one point booking?
I believe he
Pat
was. Yeah,
Patterson, JJ was at one point. Bruce
yeah,
was. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So that's what I mean. You had guys around that actually knew how to put matches together, and like uh, Michael Hayes is
oh
again
yeah, yeah.
pretty good booker, really good booker. Knows how to put things together like that. So, um,
We know you're not
um,
a Freebirds fan, so it's harder for you
of
to say that.
course,
But
this is
yes.
true. This is true. So,
Um, from Devin, are Vince and Shane, are Vince and Linda still together?
well, I really don't know, but I've read otherwise, so I really don't know. Have a clue.
Now, Russo said, and a bunch of other people have said it, that Bruce has said in the past. Other people said, "Oh, Vince and Linda haven't been together for years." I don't know, like what that means, or how long, or how many years, but it seems like they're not
Well, yeah,
together with all this stuff going on.
yeah, but I'm not up there, so I really don't know. I don't know. I haven't. I know Linda's been busy with the Small Business Administration for the last 4 years. So the last couple of years, I guess she's
Yep.
been back home. But I don't know what their situation is either way.
And she's doing something with the super PAC, trying to raise money for the Republicans and all that. So very much entrenched in politics. No
Yeah.
wrestling
So
for her.
yeah. So she's pretty busy on her own.
Barbara says you need to go back and teach Vince how to sell the stunner better than he did at WrestleMania.
I think that was even better that he got stunned that way instead of the right way. I think that was even better because people go, "Oh my god!" And even Austin went, "Oh my god!" and was just laughing and went, "Ah, I got it." So yeah, I think that was even better because you'll
Crazy.
never forget that. You'll go, "Oh
Yeah.
my god!" Do you remember when? Yeah,
I thought Pat McAfee sold it really good. Remember he had the beer in his mouth and then he
I
spit it
thought he
out and
did
it was
great. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the first time I'd seen him work, and I did. I actually thought he did really good.
And even Austin Theory when he took the stunner, he took it very well. He just
Uh,
flew backwards. Very rock
yeah,
like taking it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I like Austin Theory.
So, question from Devin again. He says, "Why doesn't Shane take over the business? Why Stephanie and not Shane?" I don't know. You probably know, right? Like, what's the deal there? Like, how come Stephanie gets right in, and maybe Shane and Vince never really got along that well?
Well, I've always heard, and I can see just an opinion that there's more Vince in Stephanie, and there's more Linda and Shane. Linda's more compassionate, empathetic, and and I think Vince is more to the throat and rip your jugular out. So I think it's just they got certain traits from both parents, and Stephanie's more business. I think she, especially being um, a woman, certainly making sure you knew she was just as tough, if not tougher. I think, just to show you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could be that competitive edge. I don't know.
Barbara says Vince blamed Turner for stealing wrestlers, yet he stole wrestlers from every territory. He destroyed the territories. What do you think about that?
I think they're going nanny nanny boo boo. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, you stole wrestlers, man. You did all that. Well, what about you? Oh, well, we didn't do that. Yeah. So it's kind of like, yeah, well, hey, you guys stole our guys. Well, you guys stole our guys. So what are you saying?
Yeah.
It really is. It's like a lawsuit. Whatever you do, you're stating all these ridiculous things. People know when you're filing frivolous lawsuits. Same thing. But I think those frivolous claims. You stole our guys, we steal your guys. That's how it works.
No doubt. Jason
Yeah.
says the money in wrestling is real. That's true. The money and the miles are both very much real.
Yep. Yeah, I think Tyson said that.
Ethereal Fox Productions, I think that's how you pronounce it, says Vince just retired to protect the business. Calculated move with all the lawsuits that are now on the table. Could very much be true.
Sure. That's what I mean. It makes sense. If he felt it was hurting if he felt it was hurting things, I'm sure he would do that. It's like, no, maybe we should move on. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Alpha says in the woke environment, image is everything. Kind of agree with him. It's all about protecting the image there in this
yeah.
woke world. Yeah.
Well, it is, but she's exactly right. It is image is everything because um, yeah, everybody has an image and everybody is pointing the finger, but yet when they when they should be looking in the mirror too, let's be straight up about this whole thing too. There's a lot of people pointing and saying things who have no ground to stand on. So, well, some do, a lot don't.
Yeah. No doubt. Dave says an article he read said Nick Khan opened the door for all of this stuff. I don't know if that's true now that he's co-CEO, but that seems to be like logical. Like Nick Khan comes, everybody else seems to be moved down a peg while he just keeps climbing the corporate ladder all the way up to CEO.
Funny, funny how that works. Gee.
And the funny thing
Strange.
to me about that is people online, which is so funny because people on Twitter know absolutely nothing. I mean, less than
Right,
nothing. They know zero about wrestling.
right,
But they're going, "Oh, I hope Bruce is the next to go." Like, do you ever get like annoyed at stupid stuff like that? Because it's like the guy's job here. I mean, he moved to Connecticut from Houston.
right.
You're like, this guy's livelihood in the mind. And they're like, "Oh, I hope Bruce is next." Like, why? Did Bruce do something to you personally? Did you kill your dog? Like, what's up with
Right.
that?
So that's where, honest to goodness, when I start thinking about the negativity out there, it's not something I want to even consider, much less dwell on. When I hear stuff like that, people really don't know what's going on. Um, you can have opinions from its second, third hand information, and Bruce can come across as braggadocious or loud and brash and just talking all kinds of bullshit. That's Bruce. He knows how to tell a great story, but he's always known how to tell a great story. Whether you think it's a great story or not, he knows how to tell you a story. Uh, and people don't know and don't understand the environment or the lay of the land that he walks in. Nobody does because there's only a couple people who do. So um, you can't appreciate what his job is or what he does. I'm not trying to defend or condone either way. All I'm saying is the little bit I know about it, just the minute, small bit I know about it, is enormous and pretty stressful. For me, it'd be stressful as hell. But that's every day for those guys. From talent relations, just dealing with people on an individual basis. Professional wrestling is about relationships, and it took me a while to figure that out. Believe it or not, it really is. And that's any really good business like that, because you have people who are going out there performing and speaking from their heart a lot of times, and where they wear their heart on their sleeve, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and that could be an intense moment when you know nothing about it firsthand. When you know nothing, you read about it from people who are getting it secondhand. So when I hear stuff about that, like get rid of Kevin Dunn, get rid of Bruce, guys, you have no idea what they do. You think you do, but you have no idea. None. Like them or hate them, they do a great job, especially Kevin Dunn, and especially Bruce.
Yeah.
And I didn't always like Bruce, and I didn't always like Kevin Dunn. Doesn't matter. You know, I've learned along the way that sometimes you've got to be this way to get it done. And if you never had to do that, then you can't speak from experience. You can only speak from, boy, I hope this. That's cool, and you're entitled to your opinion. But I have refused to allow myself to get wrapped up in the negativity and the bullshit. I just have. I don't really have time for it. And I understand the world is what it is, and there's not nice people out there. There's not.
It's
But
funny too with Kevin Dunn. It's like, oh, he said he didn't like Becky Lynch's accent. He can have an opinion. He said she's not pretty, which is crazy because she is very pretty. But he said she's not pretty. That's his opinion. Who cares? He's allowed to have
Right.
an opinion. He's very high up on the scale. So yes, his opinion holds a lot of weight. But
Yes.
it's an opinion. You can't. He said somebody wasn't pretty. Oh, she'd be fired. Oh, he said this girl. Oh, if she had bigger boobs, maybe the fans would like her. It's a cosmetic business. I mean, he's just saying stuff because it's opinion, and people are like,
Yes.
oh, he should be fired. Come on, like
Right.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah.
It is, but people don't like him because he's very abrasive and he's just not a
and
likable guy.
and honestly, because Cornette rips him,
Of course.
people love that Bucky
And I,
Beaver and all that stuff.
and I understand that, but I got it that those guys up there, and that's just them. And I'm not going to change them, so I'm not going to let them change me either. I'm not gonna worry about them. I used to walk in the room wondering if they're going to like me. Now I walk in wonder if I'm going to like them, and that's
Yeah,
kind of how I look at it. Yeah,
yeah.
because I don't
It's
care.
funny with Kevin Dunn too. I talk to him once a year, every year, and maybe a couple times, and he's very cordial, very nice. He's very professional. I've talked to him on the phone, like everything about him. I was like, okay, when people say stuff online, they've never met him, they never talked to him, like they have no
Right,
clue about him. They're hearing secondhand
right.
stories. Even Freddie Prinze recently was like, "Oh, he said that he didn't think this person was pretty." It's his opinion. I'm sure Freddie
Yeah,
said that about a few people. You know what I mean? I'm
right,
sure somebody said
right.
about it, which is insane. I'm sure somebody said about his wife of not casting her in a movie. It happens everywhere. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
people's
yeah.
opinion.
And here's the thing: is Kevin is smart enough to know, I think, different strokes for different folks. You do need beauty, and beauty is in the eye of the beholder, no doubt. I know that sounds corny and horseshit, but it's true. I remember a couple divas in FCW who were deemed not pretty enough and got over big time over the ones who were picked as the beauty queens or the examples. So it will rise to the top, and talent will. Nah, I can't always say that, but in this case, it did. Talent did win out, and again, Kevin Dunn can be brash. He can be an asshole, no doubt. He's great at what he does, very good at what he does, and you don't have to be his best friend. He does a great job. So when people say stuff like that, uh, they really do show how stupid they are, or
Right.
they're
And
trying to be
even
smart. Yeah,
yeah, and even like the Bruce stuff, it's like, why would you want a guy that has 40 years of experience? Like, fine. Oh, is he past? No, because he's still good in the creative process. Supposedly the best producer they have. I mean, so weird that people say stuff like that.
well, you're not always popular with
Yeah,
everybody, so
right,
not
right.
everybody's gonna like you, man, and that's okay too.
Craig has a good question about Vince. Did anybody ever pull ribs on him, on
Yeah,
Vince?
yeah. Owen put the goats in his office.
Oh, that's right. You're
Yeah, the pigs in his office, and yeah, that was they pulled some ribs on Vince.
Sam was saying, going back to the Vince Booker, Dusty was a better Booker.
I think Dusty was a really good booker. Yeah, probably better booker than Vince because Vince, as you said, was not a booker. He was a promoter, and he could do that part. But certainly, Dusty was a better booker.
Barbara says the ratings not very good. Will his retirement give them a bump? It actually has. Raw was at
Right?
1.9 million. SmackDown was at 2.3. So it has given them a bump. And even a few weeks ago when the scandal first hit, they saw a bump. So whenever Vince stuff news is out there, good or bad, it does
Yeah.
give them a little bump.
Well, there you have it then. We'll just have to wait and see how it all turns out. But yeah,
Mike wants to know thoughts on John Laurinaitis, Johnny Ace, aka one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
no, I'm laughing with you, not at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess John is gone. Officially, is John gone?
No, not yet. Not official.
Okay. Okay.
On
Well,
leave, paid leave.
okay. I don't know what to say on that either. I obviously wasn't there, so I don't really know any facts. But what's been reported, then I don't know what to tell you.
Walter wants to know how Bruce is. How is Bruce doing?
Last time I talked to Bruce, he was doing okay. His shoulder, he just had rotator cuff surgery, but his shoulder was getting better. So he's doing a lot better than he was a couple weeks ago.
Funny because they put him. Remember, he was doing talent relations and creative, all the stuff. He had the shoulder surgery, but he's also the executive director, so he oversees Raw and SmackDown. So it's like he had 3 or 4 jobs. So then Triple H now is the EVP of talent, and he's the head of creative, and obviously Stephanie's the CEO. So it seems like a lot of maneuvering and a lot of guys doing a few different jobs all at once.
All hands on deck.
Yeah.
All hands on deck, and that's one thing that I think they do better. Well, I haven't been I haven't been to any other places, but they do a really good job of getting everybody together and making sure it needs to come off as it needs to come off, whatever it may be.
Man, it just seems like Triple H had that heart attack, and like now he's got more roles than ever, more stress, more pressure. Hopefully, he's gonna be able to last.
Well, well, let's hope. Yeah, I think I, I think I believe he still has a passion for the business, so that's what's going to keep him going. I think if he just sat down and didn't do anything, then that would be a problem. But as long as he knows moderation or knows that he does have to keep it under a stress level he can handle, he'll be okay. Um, and I don't see that being a problem because he's calling the shots and has a chance to see his vision and see where that takes him. So that might inspire and even invigorate him. So it could be good for him that he's not just sitting around or that he has a lot of things to do, because I think he's got the same work ethic.
Ibsen wants to know about training Vince. Did you also teach him selling, bumps, promos, all that other stuff? And I guess it was all building up to Royal Rumble 99.
Well, I'll tell you this. I never went over promos with Vince. Let's see. No, we didn't do that. We pretty much what did he okay, no, the bumps. Yeah, we worked around and he took bumps. He took back bumps. He rolled. He did the same thing everybody else did. But he did take back bumps, and he took to those pretty good too. But then when we worked around, we would wrestle and uh, do have a match, go back and forth. So he was yeah, he took to it pretty good. Again, he's that not real smooth worker at all, but he got out. No, I wouldn't expect to be. He just had to be Vince, and he was Vince.
Barbara wants to say, I guess maybe make a statement here. Nails is the reason that Vince no longer meets wrestlers alone in his office. You know that story, right? Where Nails
I do. I do.
was
Yeah.
beating his ass. Yeah.
Well, that could be a very good reason, and if not, it's still a good reason to have somebody in there just in case. So yeah, it's a great reason.
Chris C says WWE equals dead. Oh, I don't know about that.
Not yet. Yeah, don't count them out yet.
Dave wants to know: have you heard that Stephanie and Kevin Dunn don't get along? Have you ever heard that? Seen that? Have you ever?
I've never seen that. When I was there, especially. So I really don't know about that one. I have no idea about their relationship.
Matty R says Vince would be a natural at promos anyway. Oh yeah, even if you go back to the Mick Memphis days and the early to mid '90s USWA stuff, he was awesome promo. You just look at his stuff from the '80s, just him talking naturally. Great, he's awesome.
Yeah, he was a good heel, good promo.
Devin said he would absolutely love to see Shane and Bruce take over at WWE. What a team that would be, Shane and Bruce.
Well, it'd be a good team. Just don't know if we're going to see it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Mike wants to know, Tom, what was your most frustrating moment with any situation in the WWE?
I don't know. There were a few of them, and I think just being frustrated in general added to an overall feeling of, especially the last time, and this everybody knows this too. We were in Tampa and it was in Stanford. It's kind of like running the war from Washington over in another country. You can't do it. You have to know what's going on. And I don't know that the message was always clear. I don't know that we were always communicating well, and that was my frustration. And I should have been better on me. But at the same time, I thought we were doing a pretty good job, and I thought we had a good recipe going. And that was my frustration because they didn't think so. We could point, but we couldn't tell.
Greg said you need to be on the creative team. Look at your history. You're damn good, says Greg R. here.
Well, thank you, Greg. Not a chance. Man.
Ibsen wants to know, what duties did Vince give you when you worked backstage in the 90s? Where you did some agenting, obviously.
I did. Yeah, was an agent. I also, I'd go on the road for the house shows too sometimes. But backstage, TV.
So let's move on from the Vince stuff. I feel like that's going to be ongoing for a while. Like, we could probably be talking about this in his retirement. So I'm sure we'll be talking about that much more going forward. But here's an interesting question from Womp Biscuits going back to 1981. It says, recently saw a match in 81 between you and Eddie Mansfield. I was impressed with your quickness. Were you naturally that quick, or something you had to develop, or a little bit of both?
Probably a little bit of both, because I had a lot of fire back then. But if you watch that match, and the reason I know this is because our social director watched it, and he wanted me to show the match of me versus Eddie. And he said, you do a really cool spot in there where you duck the elbow. And I said, you got to show me. I don't know what you're talking about. So he showed me. I'm going to the wrong side both times. He's going with the right elbow, and I come to the left. So he's got to try and switch. And it was wrong. It was I screwed up twice. He thought that was cool. So I said, no, we're not going to watch this. But if you go back and watch that, you'll see, that's what I remember. That's what I remember about the match. I screwed up twice. He went to give me the right elbow. I went under his left arm. He went to get left. Yeah. Well, you got to see it to appreciate it.
Yeah. I want to see that. I want to see the screw ups. Yeah.
Thank you. That's what I said. He goes, I thought that was cool. I said, dude, I messed up twice. That wasn't. He goes, oh, I thought that was cool. Said, no, it's not the way you want to do it.
I love it. Barbara wants to know if you could talk about promoters. Are they more ethical than others, the promoters?
Are there more ethical promoters than others? I'm sure there are. Yeah. There's some who treat the guys well, and some who treat the guys not so well. And there's some who just are out and out scumbags. There are. And there's scumbags everywhere. There's good promoters everywhere. But
Kenny wants to know thoughts on Jimmy Valiant.
Jimmy Valiant is about to celebrate his 80th birthday, I believe, and they have a show coming up for him. And if you don't mind, I'm going to look at this deal because we sent a letter from JPWA congratulating Jimmy on being 80 years old. And on August 14th, it's in the Carolinas. That's a Sunday, though. August 14th, it's going to be Handsome Jimmy's 80th year birthday party.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
Yeah, 80 years. And there's a guy who, if you want to look up charisma and presence and body language, look at some of the early Memphis days and some of the Crockett days, because that was a guy who knew his gimmick and knew what to do. So there was no waste of movement, no waste of motion.
Here's some Hall of Fame talk, which we seem to always get. Scott Bam Bam Bigelow, Miss Elizabeth, Matt Bourne for the Hall of Fame.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I don't know if Matt will get it, but he certainly deserves it.
Womp Biscuit again. In time, will Chris Benoit be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame? What do you think about that?
I'm not feeling that one anytime soon. And with Vince gone, I kind of think, I kind of think that was gone.
Yeah, I don't see that one happening. Unfortunately, I
Yeah,
don't see that one happening ever. But Terry
no.
wants to know, what are your thoughts on Ric Flair's, it's his recent match, but his retirement match?
Uh, well, it's going to be interesting to watch no matter what. And I think anybody who is in Nashville and is going to go to SummerSlam, uh, I don't know if there's any more tickets left, but I know I would think that would be something to check out on the way out of town. You know what I mean? Because um, if for nothing else, just the curiosity of what the last the last match will look like, and I think it's going to be an interesting day, the whole day, because the whole weekend starts on Friday.
Yeah.
Starcast and everything starts on Friday, so they're making it like a whole weekend, and uh, I think there's some excitement about it. So
Chris C says wrestling is so cringe right now. The magic is long gone. But that show, though, Flair's last match, I mean, there's some good matches on that card. They kind of loaded it up, to lead into the Flair match.
yeah, they did. It is a loaded card. I would say that. It's just the whole weekend's going to be culminating on Sunday night, and that's what I want to see. I really do. I think they've got a good card leading up to the last match, but I think people are going to be surprised and hopefully entertained.
Absolutely. Jeff, great question here. Did you ever see the Plan B video that was released on YouTube a few years ago? What were your thoughts on it? And who had the video that released it, if you know?
Yeah, I did see that one, and I had heard it was in Ron Wright's widow or wife's uh, belongings, and she got it out to somebody who put it on YouTube. Have you seen this?
Oh, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shocking as hell, especially like
for that
Ron
period.
Garvin and Malenko being involved. It's nuts.
Yeah, for that time period too, and I'm hearing it and going, So they that was right after they broke away from the Fullers, and I guess that was their plan. If something didn't happen, they're gonna send it all over. I guess I don't know.
And expose the business.
Expose the business, yeah.
Pretty crazy. Like,
man. Thinking about it, yeah, because for that time period and those guys, like you said, Malenko and Bob Orton and
Ron
Garvin, yeah,
Bob
Ronnie
Roop.
Garvin, Bob Roop, and Ron Wright from Tennessee. All these people believed. Yeah, it was a pretty heavy tape for for that time period, and I guess when they released it.
I have a pretty good video or interview, really, with Ron Fuller not that long ago. It's probably still surfacing around if people want to check the archives. He goes into it in some detail because he didn't know about it until somebody brought it to his attention. So really interesting to hear him talk about it too.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, Knoxville was a hell of a territory, and they kind of went ahead and tried to screw it around. They did for a little bit.
Interesting question here. Pretty funny. I was going to save it for last, but I'll do it now. Craig said, "Did you ever see Lanny Poppo blow himself?"
No, I never did. I was never in the territory with Lanny, but no, I never had that opportunity or occasion to. Thanks for asking. Yeah,
I wasn't
running in those circles at that time, man.
I heard he could do that. Pretty nuts. Pretty crazy.
No. Okay, pretty nuts. All right, so you say so.
Yeah. Here's a weird comment from Richard. It says, "Glory to Russia, glory to Putin." I don't know why.
Oh, you heard Biden.
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
he went in the hospital, right? Couldn't stop Putin.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
He went.
Yes. Hunter wants to know what city had the worst ring rats. If we're,
I don't know if there was any city that had bad ring rats. I just don't.
I'm guessing Cleveland, probably, right? Cleveland area.
Yeah, I didn't work the Cleveland area much.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
We discovered weeks ago that Pensacola was the best. Remember we.
I'll give him that. Yeah, I'll give him that.
And here is a question from Walter. We know the answer, but I want to get you talk about it a little bit. But Tom, do you train new wrestlers?
Why? Of course, we train new wrestlers. As a matter of fact, we have our school in Knoxville, Tennessee, and if you're interested in learning the art of professional wrestling, check out jpwrestlingacademy.com, and that is Walter.
Yes.
Yeah, Walter. Okay. Yeah, Walter. Yeah, jpwrestlingacademy.com. You have an application, send that in, and our next session begins in October 3rd through December 9th. So we're in the 4th week of the summer session right now, and you can get in, get a spot for that fall coming up.
What's Jake's name in the Mother Lover? What's his name in the NXT?
Because I Channing Lauren. Channing Lauren.
There you
Channing
go.
Lauren. Yeah.
So you got him and Ivy Niles. So 2 new NXT superstars surfacing. So yes, he does train new wrestlers, and yes, they do make it to the big time. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and we've been really fortunate about having our guys get booked on some of the shows in Tennessee. So we've been we're doing some stuff with the NWA. Some of our guys have been looked at there. The Stu Crew, Silas Mason, AJ Kazana. Trying to think of who else. Kenzie Page.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Kenzie Page and her partner. I'm so sorry. Elena of
the blonde.
I can't remember,
if you will. The blonde.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good.
NWA Women's Tag Team Champions.
The NWA Women's Tag Team Champions, yes. So, yes, we do train. Ella Envy, thank you very much. I was just trying to think of her name and went blank there. I felt like a complete idiot. Kenzie Page and Ella Envy. So, yeah, we've had some good results. Check us out.
Barbara says, never mind, Lanny. We need to know how to get Dr. Tom's book. And that, of course, is a pro wrestling curriculum, advice, suggestion, and stories to help the aspiring pro get to the next level. Dr. Tom, where can they get this awesome book?
You can also go to our website, jpwrestlingacademy.com. Go to the front page, and it is right there. You can order and check it out.
Great book, great learning tool. I know a lot of different wrestling organizations use that book as a tool. So very good stuff there.
Yes, I
do.
Love that. Yes.
Of course, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. Check out the website, tmptempire.com. You can follow Dr. Tom on Twitter at Dr. Tom Pritchard. You can also go to Pro Wrestling Tees, prowrestlingtees.com. Go to the JPWA store or the Dr. Tom store. I love the Wanted Dead or Alive shirt on your Pro Wrestling Tees page. What else you got going on?
Saturday night, I'm headed out to Nashville. Going to head for the Ric Flair's last match, and looking forward to that Sunday night. But it's going to be crazy in Nashville this weekend, John.
Man, it feels like SummerSlam is big, but I don't know. I feel like there's more interest in Flair's last match. TMZ's covering it. ESPN's covering it. I mean, it's getting major coverage everywhere. Connie's all over the place pushing it. So I feel like there's more interest, which is crazy, in a 73-year-old Ric Flair's last match than for SummerSlam.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see. But no, Nashville's going to be buzzing this weekend, so I can't wait.
The People's Wrestling Channel wants a shout out, Dr. Tom. The People's Wrestling Channel. There you go.
Hey, shout out to the People's Wrestling Channel. How you guys doing? That's great. That's good. Yeah, you know what? The great thing is, people have used this in Malaysia and all other, about 3 other countries to get started. So if you do want the book, again, go to jpwrestlingacademy.com. Just thinking about that, John.
Yes, nice.
All right.
Are you going to do a run in? Or are you going to save Flair?
No saving anybody. No run-ins in my contract.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
thank you, everybody, for listening. See you right back here next week for Take It to School. Dr. Tom Pritchard. We'll see you next week, folks.